This is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. I'm Rebecca Vargas, along with John Scalzi. He's whipping out the day.
Yeah, Friday. Hey,
we're happy Friday is here.
Indeed, and it looks like it's going to be a superb weekend.
Yeah?
I think so.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, we had some pretty big thunderstorms that rolled through here yesterday. I think today we'll have some thunderstorms around as well. They'll probably be a little bit further inland today, and we'll start to transition, or we already have started transitioning, to that situation where I think most of the day will be sunny as opposed to rainy in the afternoon.
That's
so that's
good.
Yeah, people want to get out and boat and you know, maybe take a walk along the beach in the evening for the weekend.
So nice. And we've had really starry skies.
Yeah,
this morning,
beautiful.
Early this morning.
Yeah.
I noticed how nice it was.
When these thunderstorms come through in the evening, they really do stabilize the atmosphere in the morning. So that's kind of nice. Now, over the weekend, we might see a few more clouds around during morning hours because of the wind shift. But you can see how everything is dissipated over the last couple of hours. And right now, we are left with very quiescent conditions on the Suncoast. It is a tranquil and serene morning here. We're looking for a nice start to the day for our students as well. At the bus stop, expect 79 degrees as a morning temperature. Dry, maybe a few inland showers on the way home, but I think that's about it. We'll put the rain chance at about 20%, but that really is going to be in inland areas later in the day. And the showers that build in inland areas stay in inland areas, just like Vegas. Some of the showers may actually drift even further away from our coast, but I think the coast today is on the most part going to stay kind of dry. Complete weekend forecast for you coming up in just a minute.
Thanks, John. As far as your commute this morning, I'm not seeing any major slowdowns at all. That's pretty normal, though, for this point in the morning. Looks like Palmetto bridges are still clear. A little unusual. We're seeing kind of a backup southbound on 301 as you approach State Road 70. That's kind of a rare for this time, but be aware of that. No accidents, though, in Manatee County. The interstate is clear. So are most of the major roadways in Sarasota, and the arteries out to 75, 41, and the interstate are clear as you head down into Northport and Venice at this 5 o'clock hour. Well, topping our news this morning, a violent turn of events for a family on vacation in Siesta Key. A 16-year-old boy is now under arrest, facing charges after admitting to authorities that he stabbed his mother and younger brother. ABC 7's Ray Collins has the story.
A single mother and her two sons from Boston having a nice time on Siesta Key, but Wednesday night their lives took a sharp turn, and Sarasota County Sheriff deputies say this boy, 16-year-old Gust Ramgren, is to blame. Inside this rental property on Blind Pass Road, detectives say the teenage boy stabbed his mother and brother. They say he ran north for a half mile and came down Tree Bay Lane, where he asked a resident for help for his family that had just been stabbed.
Did you know him at all?
No, just came up on our porch.
Back on Blind Pass Road, Melissa Ramgren had already called 911 and assistance was arriving. One of the deputies said the younger brother said he thought he was going to die and asked why his brother would do this. Shortly after midnight, deputies say 16-year-old Gust Ramgren admitted he stabbed his mother and younger brother. They charged him with attempted second-degree murder and took him to a juvenile holding center.
It's just unbelievable.
News of the domestic double stabbing traveled fast on Siesta Key.
I just feel very bad for the family. I mean, their lives will never, ever be the same again. It's just a tragedy.
And word also traveled fast up to the Boston area. This acquaintance was surprised.
The brief encounters that I've had with him, I would never think that he would do such a thing, but, you know.
And the superintendent of the suspect school said he was heartbroken to learn of the tragedy. The sheriff's office says the mother has serious injuries and the 14-year-old boy is listed in critical but stable condition, and the mystery continues as to why this happened. In the newsroom, Ray Collins, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Ray. A resident in Sarasota County dies after being exposed to a bacteria commonly found in raw seafood. The Florida Department of Health confirms the victim was exposed to Vibrio vulnificus. For most healthy people, though, this bacteria can cause symptoms of food poisoning. But doctors advise those with low immune systems, pre-existing conditions, and specifically liver disease to avoid eating raw oysters and other shellfish.
It is serious, and it's good to know about and what to do to prevent it. But if the right kind of precautionary steps are taken. For most people, swimming in the ocean, eating raw oysters is going to be safe for most.
We don't serve oysters and clams because it's a liability.
Well, there have been 5 deaths this year in the entire state linked to this bacteria. Well, 1 week in the book for Manatee County students. They're already back in school, and with Sarasota County schools heading back Monday, administrators are interested in creating a safe and healthy learning environment. ABC 7's Kate Flexter tells us about a state law requiring school districts to have a program in place to prevent acts of bullying.
For many, it's a time of excitement, but for victims of bullying, heading back to school can be difficult.
What happens is they don't want to go to school. They get up in the morning and say, I don't feel well, I'm sick.
1 in every 4 teens is bullied, and it can have some long-term effects for victims. A study that tracked more than 2,000 people from childhood to adulthood found that teenagers who were frequent targets of bullies were 3 times more likely than their peers to be depressed as adults. And other studies have linked bullying to low academic performance. That's why school board member John Colon says it's a top concern for Manatee County.
You can't learn if you're living in an environment of fear or harassment.
With that in mind, the Florida legislature signed into law a requirement that all schools have a bullying policy and procedure in place or risk losing state funding. Both Manatee County and Sarasota County have state-approved policies in place that clearly define what bullying looks like. But still, Supervisor of Student Services Debbie Jackalone says each case is different than the last.
It is open to interpretation. I think when we are dealing with a claim or a concern that relates to bullying, it's very important for us to understand that there are 2 sides to every story.
Especially with cyberbullying, when much of it goes on at home or behind closed doors.
But it gives bullies a safe place to hide, like, oh, I could be big and bad, but I'm doing it behind a screen, through a keyboard.
Instead of combating bullying on a case-by-case basis, Jackalone says the best solution is educating people about the problem and creating larger cultural changes and a safe learning environment for students.
By providing students and teachers and parents in our community with an awareness and an ability to intervene, that ultimately we are preventing acts of bullying, against our students.
Kate Flexter, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Kate. And as the Sarasota County School District gets ready to kick off the new school year on Monday, the physical safety of students remains a top priority. The security team in the school district, including the new safety and security director, have the responsibility of keeping more than 40,000 students and thousands of staff members safe. The team keeps a close eye on things from an undisclosed location 365 days a year, 24 hours a day.
It's number 1 on my list, my staff's list, the district's list, keeping the children safe, the faculty safe, and our visitors safe. Anyone who comes into our schools, on our campuses, falls under our responsibility.
That comes first before anything else. Once those students leave their families, we want the families to be assured that they are safe and secure in our care.
Something new for the upcoming school year is a visitor identification and management system called VIMS. As more students move into Manatee County, one school is celebrating an expansion to welcome the influx. The Bradenton Christian School will hold a ribbon cutting and dedication ceremony this morning for their new middle school building. The new school has the new building has 9 classrooms, 2 science labs, and wider hallways. The school has also added new projectors, surface tables, and other equipment to the school. 820 students are enrolled in the school, which includes 218 middle schoolers. Today's ceremony will be held at 9:45 this morning. Manatee County's Planning Commission votes in favor of a request to allow mining operations near a water source. A meeting was held yesterday on whether or not to rezone 3,500 acres of Mosaic's Wingate East property. Mosaic is asking to run water pipes 100 feet along the property. The mine expansion would impact several wetlands in the area, which Mosaic would offset by giving the county 800 acres of land around the Myakka River to conserve. Residents have expressed concerns, though. The company says that there's no risk to the water supply. The plan still needs approval from county commissioners. Down south, Venice's Wellfield Park has long been a topic of conversation and concern among city leaders. Now those conversations are turning toward the city handing the park over to Sarasota County. In exchange, the city would have to maintain its smaller parks, something which the county currently does. Wellfield has been a large expense for Venice and has many times fallen into disrepair.
The soccer team is huge, 800 participants, baseball, football, but they're not just Venice residents, yet we don't have the same capital contribution that goes into the county parks.
Both county and city officials are returning from their summer breaks. The idea is expected to be a topic of the upcoming discussions. A study is now underway to come up with improvements and changes for a busy Sarasota intersection. According to the Herald Tribune, traffic engineers and consultants are taking a closer look at ways to keep traffic moving along US 41 and Gulfstream Avenue. They're also looking at how to make downtown Sarasota and the Bayfront more accessible for pedestrians and bicyclists. Some ideas include changing the intersection to a roundabout or improving the current traffic signal. The study is expected to be complete by the end of next year, and public meetings about those changes will be held in the fall. Meanwhile, improvement plans for the Lido Key Beach Pavilion are getting some mixed reactions. According to the Herald Tribune, more than 50 people attended a meeting last night to give their opinions on what should be done to this pavilion. Some are worried the new designs will create more noise and traffic in the area, especially with the restaurant and expanded tiki bar planned for that pavilion area. The improvements could cost more than $3.5 million. $1 million in sales tax revenue will be used for the design and initial construction. These public recommendations given last night will be presented to the City Commission during its consideration for this project. Well, you know, Lido Key Beach, it could always use a little bit of an upgrade, especially with Siesta Key now competing not too far away. But of course, you know, it's going to mean more people are coming.
Love that beach, though.
Oh, it is beautiful.
Such a nice, it's such a quiet beach. I think that's one of the
maybe that's why people don't want it. It won't be so quiet anymore.
Might be. Showers in the forecast for you, but a different pattern brings some more sunshine as well. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Also coming up, the U.S. Olympic Committee apologizing to Brazil for what they are calling a, quote, distracting ordeal involving 4 American swimmers. We have the latest on this story coming up.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, we make sure you get the most for your money. More years, more miles, and when you're ready to sell, you'll get more money back. Come fall in love with the longest-lasting vehicle in its class, the Subaru Outback. Or lease a new 2017 Subaru Forester for just $209 a month. Or get 0% financing right now during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Batteries Plus bulbs keep stacks of batteries for cars, cell phones, watches, plus light bulbs for lamps, can lights, and appliances right on hand. Did I mention we also repair smartphones? Batteries Plus bulbs. Trust the plus. Visit Batteries Plus bulbs today.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we are looking at, again, a changing weather pattern that brings us more sunshine than showers and thunderstorms as we head into the weekend. So just in time for the weekend, things are going to be shaping up to be pretty nice, I think. 77 the current air temperature, dew point is at 73. We've got a nice starry sky. We're looking at an east wind blowing at about 3. That east wind will be changing, swapping around to more of a westerly wind flow. I think tomorrow morning when we wake up, we'll find that we have a west wind as opposed to an east wind. And even by later in the day, I think we'll establish ourselves a nice west wind, which will change up our weather pattern just a little bit. So we have a 76 degrees in Wauchula, Arcadia. Myakka comes in at 76. We have 77 in Bradenton Parish, Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota, Inglewood. 78 degrees in Venice, and in Northport, 76 degrees. As far as radar goes across the state, there's not a lot of action currently. We do have a few scattered showers over on the other coast and down in the southern tip, so there's still enough moisture in the atmosphere, instability, to produce showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. The difference will be the trigger mechanism that gets them going. Over the last couple of days, we have had an east coast sea breeze move all the way across into our area, and then our west coast sea breeze would rush up to meet that east coast sea breeze. The two would butt heads, the air would rise, and showers and thunderstorms would build. Well, now that east coast sea breeze is going to be a lot quieter, a lot tamer over the next several days. And our westerly wind flow will become more pronounced, pushing further and further inland without butting heads with that east coast sea breeze, such that most of the shower activity will occur in inland areas and be pushed further and further away from the coast. And most of the day, the coast is going to end up being quiet and calm and clear. That because high pressure to our north has sunk south. And as it sinks south and continues to sink south, we'll have kind of a variable wind today, and then by tomorrow, we'll have a more vigorous westerly wind flow. So fewer storms today, a warm afternoon, and then we'll watch those storms drift to the coast or kind of just hang out in place. So watch the showers and thunderstorms along this line here. This is a frontal boundary, and that frontal boundary will be a focal point in the United States today for the heavier rainfall. That frontal boundary will also serve to help take that high pressure ridge and keep it nudged further to the south, providing us with our westerly wind flow over the course of the weekend. So good news there. Few scattered showers out in Gulf waters this morning. They'll dissipate there, not a big threat. And then the showers line up inland along our sea breeze and are kind of either pushed further inland or die out in place today. And then tomorrow, maybe a morning shower or two, but then everything is pushed toward the other coast, leaving our coastline very quiet in the evening. So that scenario shapes up to provide us with a very, very nice weekend forecast. Forecast looks like this for beach and boating. Look for a west wind shifting southwest at about 10 knots today. 2-foot seas with a light chop, and the official Suncoast forecast calls for mostly inland showers today, followed by even lesser rain chances over the next several days. Inland showers in the afternoon, maybe a sprinkle or two along the coastline in the morning hours, but then that's it. Daytime highs topping out in the 90s. Back to you.
Thanks, John. As far as our traffic right now, we're starting to see a little bit of a buildup there out of Palmetto, just over the bridges as you come into Bradenton. Not too much, though, just a little slowdown, maybe at the light there. Other than that, it looks like 41 is just starting to pick up a little bit in volume. Some more cars on the roadway at this early hour. Nothing to slow you down, though, as you head into Sarasota. No accidents, no slowdowns on the interstate or on 41. And it looks like in Venice and Northport, we are seeing the same story there. Well, the weekend is almost here, and if you're looking for something to do, ABC7's Linda Carson has a full rundown.
The 4th annual Venice Summer Cabaret Festival is a huge success. Appearing Saturday night, Charles Logan with a show called Born This Way.
It's a mostly autobiographical story of just all the things that make me me. I sing and dance. I mean, I've got songs from classics like a chorus line and Singing in the Rain to edgier stuff like Hedwig and the Angry Inch and the Rocky Horror Show.
At the Venice Theater, August 20th and August 26th. The West Coast Black Theater Troupe is quiet right now, but this stage will explode this weekend when Nate Jacobs brings Aunt Rudell to life. Aunt Rudell brought the house down at the National Black Theater Festival over and over and charmed audiences all over the country on a national tour.
Everybody has an Aunt Rudell. It doesn't matter what race, what color you are, everybody can identify with that woman.
Early on, Nate did Aunt Rudell as a stand-up routine. Then he was advised to don a wig and a dress.
He said, whatever you do, do not cut off that mustache.
Aunt Rudell at the West Coast Black Theater Troupe this weekend. And this is the biggest thing going this weekend, the Grilled Cheese Festival at Sutton Park in Palmetto. Saturday, 11 a.m. till 7 p.m., free parking, free admission.
We have a full liquor and wine bar. We're pet friendly. We have air-conditioned tents to keep people cool.
There'll be 20 of the finest food trucks in the area and music by Reverend Barry and the Fantastic Soul and the Job Movement Band. And this just in, you're invited to a free party on the pass, a public party on the sandbars in Big Pass. There'll be music, water fun, and fellowship. 10 to 2 on Sunday. You just have to find your own boat or whatever to get there. Linda Carson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Linda. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, Twitter is joining the fight against terrorism. We'll show you how the company is cracking down on threats on social media coming up.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
Hi, I'm Dylan Radigan. The world is brimming with possibilities. And that keeps me busy. My latest invention may be able to feed and sustain communities around the world. My team and I are always on the go, meeting new people and seeing new places. I produce films that I really care about. It's an honor to speak to audiences around the world. When people come together, meaningful work gets done. How do I do all this? Well, that part's easy. Hotelplanner.com.
Since 1928, Karastan has been setting the standard in carpets and rugs, producing non-allergenic wools that won't promote the growth of bacteria or dust mites like other carpets will. Karastan wools actively remove contaminants from the indoor air, making your home healthier. And there are many colors and patterns and textures to choose from. Come see for yourself.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
Welcome to the all-new Seymour Buick GMC on the island of Venice.
Seymour smiles.
Seymour selection of quality new and pre-owned vehicles.
Seymour for your trade-in.
Seymour savings.
Step up to GMC and get cash back for up to 12% of the MSRP on these select 2016 GMC vehicles. That's over $9,300 cash back on this Yukon.
Seymour now at Seymour Buick GMC on the island of Venice. Go to SeymourBuickGMC.com.
Welcome back. It is 5:24. We're getting a look at the future of cars and Twitter announcing a major crackdown. ABC's Candace Gibson and Diane Macedo have the details.
In today's Tech Bites, Twitter is cracking down on terror, suspending nearly 250,000 accounts.
The spike in suspensions for terror-related activities follows a string of recent attacks around the world. Twitter has increased daily suspensions by more than 80%.
Uber has announced the rollout of a fleet of self-driving cars.
Yeah, customers in Pittsburgh will be able to summon the cars with their smartphone. They're still working on making the cars fully driverless, so they will come with human backup drivers to handle any unexpected situations.
And this weekend, Mercedes unveils its latest concept car. the Mercedes Maybach 6.
Okay, it's huge, more than 18 feet long. It has an electric engine packed with 738 horsepower, but it only has a range of 200 miles.
And this is very high tech. It can be charged through a wireless electromagnetic field.
But it's still just a concept, but it looks cool.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Tech Bites, brought to you by Office Depot.
She spent summer binge watching. Soon, she'll be binge studying.
Now she writes mostly in emoji. Soon she'll type the best essays in the entire 8th grade.
Today, the only Spanish words he knows are burrito and enchilada. Soon, he'll take notes in Espanol.
Get back to great with the right gear.
From the place with the experts, Office Depot Office Max. Gear up for school. Gear up for great.
Good is in every Blue Diamond almond. Good is a catalyst. Good is contagious. And once it gets going, there's no stopping what you can do. Get your good going. Blue Diamond Almonds, proud sponsor of the U.S. swim team.
Incredible bladder protection and a pad this thin? I didn't think it would work, but it does. It's called Always Discreet for bladder leaks. The super absorbent core turns liquid to gel. I know I'm wearing it, but no one else will. Always Discreet for bladder leaks.
Hurricane season is here. We'll make sure you're prepared. Watch our hurricane special on our ABC7 app and all our live streaming platforms.
Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku.
Temperatures are rising, and the deals are hotter than ever during the summer clearance event at Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep Ram, and Sarasota. Get the all-new Chrysler Pacifica for just $26,999 and get an additional $1,000 off with a trade-in. Hurry! Time is running out to get the new Dodge Journey for just $15,999. And right now, get up to $10,000 off a new Ram Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
Do you have what it takes to become a champion? The Sarasota YMCA Shark Swim Team has been developing champions since 1961. Fall swim team tryouts for kids ages 6 through 18 are being held August 15th through the 18th and August 22nd to the 25th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Tryouts are held at the Evelyn Sadler Jones branch, YMCA's Selby Aquatic Center. For more information, visit sarasotaymca.org/sharks.
They took that stress and that tension when I was particularly feeling very bad after that nasty car accident, and it was such a relief to know that I didn't have to bear that burden alone, that I had help.
Our goal is to not just get a satisfactory settlement on their case. We want them up on their feet, happy again. They've gotten their life back.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Coming up on Good Morning Suncoast, another emergency hearing will be held today on a lawsuit against the state's school retention policies. Plus, U.S. Olympians who were detained in Brazil are now heading back to the U.S. We have the latest on their claims that they were robbed at gunpoint in Rio. And Uber is looking to eliminate drivers in some cities. We'll show you what the company's working on.
Live from the ABC 7 studios, this is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Welcome back. I'm Rebecca Vargas along with John Scalzi. It is Friday. Uber doing something different. It's not because of bad behavior that they're eliminating Uber drivers. So.
It's interesting to see them doing that, to going in that direction. That's neat. Yeah, it's a brave new world.
Yeah, I don't know if I am that brave though.
You know, there have been issues. There have been issues with other vehicles on the road.
And some of the high-end ones too.
Yeah, so we'll see.
We'll see.
Showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for you a little later on, but they are not going to be as widespread as we have seen, and they will only probably bother inland areas today. There will be slow-moving storms that will die out either in place or drift slowly away from the Gulf Coast. I think it'll be a pretty nice start for most of us with the school bus looking like it'll see a daytime temperature, pickup temperature of about 80 degrees, thereabouts, 79, 80 degrees. Dry, though, not a drop of rain falling for any of the school kids. And on the way home, maybe some showers in inland areas, but I think along the coastline, things are going to be pretty quiet. We'll go with about a 20% chance of storms by around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and those will be inland storms drifting away from the coast. And the temperatures probably a little bit cooler than we have seen as we develop a little stronger westerly flow. Complete forecast details coming up in a few.
Thanks, John. As far as your roadways this morning, definitely more cars on the roads at this early half hour here. We're seeing some slowdowns on 41 southbound just as you pass Cortez Road. But other than that, the Palmetto bridges are pretty clear. So is the interstate. Not seeing anything to slow you down into Sarasota County. The arteries out to 75 are clear at this point. Still no accidents to report on our roadways. Even as you head down into Northport and Venice, we're not seeing any problems there. Topping our news this half hour, a 16-year-old boy is now under arrest, and his mother and brother are in the hospital after authorities say he stabbed them while they were on vacation here on Siesta Key. Sheriff deputies say 16-year-old Gus Ramgren admitted to stabbing his mother and 14-year-old brother Wednesday night at their vacation rental on Turtle Beach. The two victims are in serious condition in the hospital, and the suspect is being held in a juvenile detention facility facing charges of 2 counts of second-degree murder. Word spread fast on Siesta Key.
I just feel very bad for the family. I mean, their lives will never, ever be the same again. It's just a tragedy.
The family was visiting from the Boston area. Detectives say the suspect has not given a reason for the attack, but said they were having a good time on their vacation. Meanwhile, a Sarasota-based circus operator facing charges in a deadly tent collapse will not plead guilty. Sarasota-based Walker International Events faces a felony charge of operating without a license and other violations. About 100 people were inside their tent in New Hampshire last August when high winds from a storm toppled the tent. The collapse killed a man and his 6-year-old daughter. 50 others were hurt, and Walker International also faces several other lawsuits and fines in the accident. A federal judge is blocking a Florida law that prevents state funds from going to organizations that provide abortions. In addition to blocking state money from abortion providers, the legislation added inspection requirements on clinics. Now, Planned Parenthood challenged 3 parts of the wide-ranging law. The state still could appeal, and a spokesperson says that Governor Scott's administration is reviewing its options. Another emergency hearing will be held today over a lawsuit that challenges the state's 3rd-grade retention policy. A U.S. district judge will consider whether or not the lawsuit should go before the federal court. Lawyers representing the Florida Department of Education and 6 school districts are requesting a federal judge take over this case. They claim it raises federal issues along with state issues. The districts are being sued for holding students back in 3rd grade for opting out of standardized testing. Parents say the retentions violate their equal protection rights, but this lawsuit states that students should be promoted because they got good grades and demonstrate that they can read at grade level. The state's largest property insurer is urging regulators to support a 6% rate hike to cover a surge in water damage claims. The Florida Office of Insurance Regulation is expected to rule on this request from Citizens Property Insurance next month, and if approved, the increase would go into effect February 1st. The request comes as the insurer deals with an increase in water damage claims across the state. For policyholders, any change will vary by policy and location.
It's certainly very troubling to hear that folks that are residents in Monroe County and really in any county of the state are having to consider moving out of their homes or making other accommodations in order to be able to afford housing in that region because of insurance rates.
The Office of Insurance Regulation says the state had seen a 46% increase in water damage claims and a 28% increase in costs since 2010. 2 U.S. Olympians who were held back in Brazil over claims that they were robbed at gunpoint are now heading back towards the U.S. today, but Brazilian authorities now say those claims were made up. But the swimmers refute that. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has the latest.
The Olympic-size event getting a lot of attention is whether or not U.S. Olympian Ryan Lochte and his teammates were ever really robbed at gunpoint in Rio de Janeiro. Brazilian police say that Lochte and his 3 teammates were not robbed after a night of partying. But the athletes instead vandalized a gas station bathroom and were questioned by armed guards before they paid for the damage and left. Lochte's been back in the States now for a couple of days. Teammates Jack Conger and Gunnar Bentz were escorted off a U.S.-bound flight Wednesday night and taken to the police station where they faced hours of questioning. Both swimmers heckled as they left the Rio police station, returning to their hotel rooms before boarding a flight out of Brazil last night. On the night in question, Lochte and his teammates maintain they got in a taxi to head to the Olympic Village, and that's where the story gets a little murky. Lochte laying out details to NBC News.
The guy pulled out his gun, he cocked it, put it to my forehead, he said, "Get down," and I was like, I put my hands up, I was like, whatever.
But police released new surveillance video from the gas station where the swimmers say the robbery took place, saying at least 1 of 4 Olympic swimmers are seen breaking down a bathroom door at a gas station, then getting into a fight with a security guard. Sources who spoke to all 4 swimmers say their story still holds up because 3 minutes of video is missing, which they claim would show the men being held up at gunpoint and bullied to sit down on the curb until they handed over cash. Overnight, the U.S. Olympic Committee offering this statement saying, "We apologize to our host in Rio and the people of Brazil for this distracting ordeal in the midst of what should rightly be a celebration of excellence."
Authorities are asking Lochte and another swimmer, James Fegan, be indicted for lying to police, but any jail time is highly unlikely. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
Thank you, Stephanie. In consumer news this morning, those who shop at Eddie Bauer are being warned to check their credit and debit card statements. The retailer says all of its stores in the U.S. were targeted by credit card thieves this year. It found and removed malware from registers at 350 stores. Debit and credit cards used at its stores between January and mid-July have been compromised. Online purchases, though, were not affected. Twitter users will soon see a cleaner feed. The social media site is adding a quality filter for all users that will hide tweets that are threatening or appear automated or spam-worthy. The feature was previously only available to users with verified accounts. This filter will not hide content from users that a person is following or has interacted with on Twitter. Users will also have the ability to only see notifications from accounts that they follow. And imagine getting into an Uber car without a driver. That's what the ride-sharing service is now beginning to test out. The company is now using self-driving cars in Pittsburgh. The cars are topped with cameras, radar, GPS receivers, and laser scanners to collect mapping data. Each car also has a tablet computer in the back seat to keep passengers informed. For the time being, a trained driver will sit in the driver's seat monitoring the ride. The rides in driverless cars will initially be free, and Uber customers who are okay riding in these self-driving cars will have to opt into the program in advance. They're testing it out, John. I know that you love technology like this. Would you do it? Would you go check it out? Be one of the first? You get a free ride.
And there's supposed to be there's a driver in the driver's seat?
They're monitoring it.
Sure.
You know,
Yes.
test running it.
Absolutely.
You try it.
Would you?
Maybe with a driver in the car,
Sure.
and they're able to take control easily if they need to.
Absolutely.
I could do that.
Yeah, I want to see this technology develop.
I mean, it's
you know?
the future.
It
It's
is.
inevitable. I hope
And
they can figure it out, though.
It's a free ride.
Hey, We like free, right?
Who doesn't
If
like
it's
a free
it's
ride?
For me.
That sounds like a Groucho Marx. I know who doesn't like a free ride. Showers and thunderstorms a little bit this afternoon, a little bit over the weekend, but certainly not what we have seen. We'll talk about that in a minute.
All right, thanks, John. And hitting the gym, it's not just good for your body, it's also proving to be good for your brain. We'll tell you why next in Health Smart.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little Sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
Attention blood clot filter patients. Surgically implanted blood clot filters are potentially life-threatening. Some filters are prone to breaking, resulting in pieces of the filter moving through the body and causing internal bleeding. If you had surgery to implant a blood clot filter, you may be entitled to a cash award, even if you haven't suffered side effects yet. Call the Gold Shield Group now, 888-747-5291, to see if you qualify for a cash award, 888-747-5291.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Whether you're a homeowner looking for a professional installation or a contractor looking for top quality products, Sarasota Glass and Mirror can meet your every need.
For 42 years, Sarasota Glass and Mirror has been the area's premier supplier and installer of quality glass products for your home or business. As an authorized PGT WinGuard dealer, we know how to protect your home with everything from the PGT WinGuard impact-resistant windows and doors to shower enclosures and decorative mirrors. The Sarasota Glass and Mirror team has the knowledge to tackle any project.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Welcome to the all-new Seymour Buick GMC on the island of Venice.
Seymour smiles.
Seymour selection of quality new and pre-owned vehicles.
Seymour for your trade-in.
Seymour savings.
Discover the new Buick and get cash back for up to 16% of the MSRP on select 2016 Buick vehicles. That's nearly $8,000 cash back on this Buick LaCrosse.
Seymour now at Seymour Buick GMC on the island of Venice. Go to SeymourBuickGMC.com.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Current conditions outside are pleasant enough at 77 degrees with a dew point of 73. That's pretty much where we have been over the last several days, really. The feel of the air is not too different than it was 24 hours ago. East wind coming in lightly at about 3. It's about half the speed that it was 24 hours ago. And that's because the high pressure ridge that has been directing these winds out of the east is starting to reposition itself, sinking a little bit further south. The more directly over us it becomes today, the lighter the winds will be, and the more variable as well. We'll see them shifting around a little bit from east to eventually a westerly wind. And that is important in terms of our storms that we see later on this afternoon. 77 Wauchula, 78 in Arcadia, 77 Myakka, Parrish at 78, so is Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch the same, Northport at 78, 77 Sarasota, 79 Venice and Inglewood, and 81 degrees out at Longboat Key. So across the peninsula right now, yeah, we still have plenty of moisture around. That's it. But moisture is only one ingredient in the formation of showers and thunderstorms. You also need some kind of a kicker, some kind of a boundary at the surface to make the air rise. If the air doesn't rise, you're not going to get storms. And in this case, we're lacking any kind of rising air motion being produced by wind flow over the state of Florida. So it's quiet right now. A little bit later on, we'll probably see that easterly wind start to push a few showers in our direction. But we'll also notice, because the winds will be light, they'll be somewhat variable. On our coast, we're going to notice a more vigorous west coast sea breeze today. And that west coast sea breeze will move inland, creating showers and thunderstorms where there are none now east of the interstate. And I think those storms will pretty much stay there. I don't see much of a chance of the coastline getting any kind of heavy weather like we have over the last several days. High pressure sinking south switches our winds to the west, and that's the way it's going to be for probably 3, 4, 5 days maybe. Westerly winds, warm afternoons, and storms mostly inland and favoring the other coast as opposed to our coast, which we have been seeing with that easterly wind. The little frontal boundary to the north of us will sag south, never making it into our area, but it's maybe a little harbinger of days to come when cooler air will arrive in Florida. But what it will effectively do is kind of keep this high pressure ridge sunk down to the south for several days in a row. The front will also trigger off the heavier showers that stretch from the Ohio Valley down into the areas of the deep south and into Texas Panhandle. That's where the heaviest rains will be. Unfortunately, parts of Louisiana already flooded will see some additional heavier rain. The RPM computer model shows those showers building in inland areas and then just kind of fading out right in that same spot. And then tomorrow, maybe a few morning showers, and then everything kind of moves inland and toward the other coast and away from our coastline. So we're in for several days in a row of some very nice afternoon weather along the coast, and great beach weather, I think. We'll look for some heavier rainfall in the plains, but for us, standard kind of thunderstorm activity. And most of it, as I mentioned, will be in inland areas, so the threat of severe weather over the weekend is pretty darn small. Forecast for beach and boating looks pretty good. West winds shifting to the southwest at about 10 knots. That'll bring you a light chop with 2-foot seas. And the official Suncoast forecast keeps rain chances minimal over the weekend, with temperatures decreasing with an onshore flow as we head into next work week. Back to you.
Thanks, John. As far as the roadways this morning, it looks like everything is moving along well out of Palmetto and on the interstate there. The bridges out of Palmetto are clear at this point. So is 41. 301 looks great as well. As you head down into Sarasota, I'm not seeing anything to slow you down. No accidents. Everything is green on the arteries out to 75. The interstate also clear. So is 41. All the way as far south as Northport this morning. No accidents to worry about. Well, a scare for seafood lovers on the Suncoast following the year's first death in Sarasota linked to the bacteria Vibrio vulnificus. It's commonly found in shellfish. ABC 7's Alex Redmond has the story.
The Suncoast is synonymous with seafood, but now Suncoast residents are concerned over a death in Sarasota linked to eating raw shellfish.
From recently eating a Gulf oyster with the bacteria in it. I don't remember the name of the bacteria.
Vibrio vulnificus. Now the Florida Department of Health confirms the first Sarasota Vibrio fatality this year is related to seafood exposure.
Pretty specific to raw oysters. So the folks that get it without any obvious wound, it's virtually always they give a history of raw oysters being consumed directly before the illness.
5 confirmed deaths in Florida this year from Vibrio vulnificus. Emergency physician Sarah Temple says first symptoms of exposure in healthy people may result in stomach flu symptoms. Then there's wound infections from a mix of fresh and salt water, including Gulf waters, and those can be serious.
The third is probably the scariest, and that's just it's called septicemia or a blood infection. And we think that that's usually from eating raw oysters that have Vibrio in them.
Tony Ho chooses not to serve oysters and clams at his restaurant.
It's a liability, it's a little bit higher.
The species, says Ho, are filter feeders, and it would cost him more to serve them.
Majority of the time, they're very good, but once in a while, when the water gets contaminated, they do filter in all those bacteria and all those. So not all the time, but once in a while, it does happen.
According to the CDC, it's impossible to tell an oyster is bad by looking at it. An oyster that contains harmful bacteria doesn't look, smell, or even taste different from any other oyster. The CDC also finds hot sauce and lemon juice don't kill Vibrio bacteria. Drinking alcohol while eating oysters doesn't kill Vibrio bacteria either. Cooking oysters properly kills harmful bacteria. Reporting in Sarasota, Alex Redmond, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Alex. In the fight against Zika, researchers are looking for people willing to be infected by the virus. The volunteers will be part of a study to search for a vaccine for Zika. This study is set to begin this winter when mosquitoes aren't as active throughout the country. The researchers have already started safety tests for 2 vaccine candidates, and more experimental shots are poised to undergo preliminary testing soon. A vaccine would not be available for general use anytime soon. There's another reason to start thinking about hitting the gym now. It could better benefit your brain. Researchers at the University of Cambridge did a study of hundreds of people between the ages of 20 and 87. They found that those who were obese or overweight during middle age had brains that resembled someone who was 10 years old. They found there was much less white matter in their brains than those who had a healthy weight, leading more to brain degeneration. White matter helps link different parts of the brain together. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
August 26th, it's game on. Tune in weekly for highlights and scores from the top high school games happening along the Suncoast. Football Friday night, sponsored by your local Gulf Coast Honda dealers.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone who had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to their heart or lungs. Did your IVC filter move, break, or cause organ damage? The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, even death. If you or a loved one suffered serious complications, call IVC Filter Helpline now. You may be entitled to compensation. IVC filters are designed to prevent blood clots. If your IVC filter moved or broke and you suffered heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, or if a loved one died as a result, call IVC Filter Helpline today. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. You'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call today for a free confidential consultation. Don't fight this alone. Call IVC Filter Helpline now.
Please call 800-897-6764. That is 800-897-6764.
The kitchen is where life happens. Minnesota Flooring now offers a wide variety of beautiful quality craft-made cabinetry to make sure the heart of your home reflects your style. Visit us today at our new kitchen and bath cabinetry locations.
Welcome back, 2 of my favorite guests. Cash 3 and Play 4.
Surprise! We're Pick 3 and Pick 4 now.
Whoa!
But we still play exactly the same. We just got a fresh new look.
Speaking of surprises, I have one for you. Say hello to Pick 2 and Pick 5!
Introducing the complete Pick family of games.
We're family now.
The new Pick 2 and Pick 5 have joined Pick 3 and Pick 4 to give you more choices in your daily gameplay. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, we make sure you get the most for your money. More years, more miles, and when you're ready to sell, you'll get more money back. Come fall in love with the longest-lasting vehicle in its class, the Subaru Outback. Or lease a new 2017 Subaru Forester for just $209 a month. Or get 0% financing right now during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
Welcome back. It is 5:55, and here's what's coming up in our 6 o'clock hour. The investigation into what caused a 16-year-old teen to stab his mother and younger brother continues today. This attack happened Wednesday night on Siesta Key. More mining in Manatee County is a step closer to reality after the Planning Commission votes in favor of a proposal to rezone 3,000 acres of property owned by Mosaic. And a Manatee County private school will hold a ribbon cutting today for a new middle school building opening at Bradenton Christian School. Well, football season is upon us, and here in Florida, it's a historic start to the season. In Miami, the first female high school football coach in the state is starting her first season at Miami Jackson Senior High School. She used to play football herself and has also been a basketball and football or flag football coach. She's already proving to be a winning coach, winning the first game of the season last night against Coral Reef High School. She says while she wants to win on the field, she also wants her players to be winners off the field and will work on teaching them respect and work with them to help them move on to college. How cool is that? I like to see that.
Yeah, that is awesome.
We got a lot of our own football teams starting tonight. Well, not starting tonight, but kind of having pre-games. Next Friday is the official.
It's all gearing up.
I know.
It's all gearing up.
Yeah, cool.
That's great. I think that's a good role model for those young men, too.
Yeah, strong woman, and she's already winning games. I love to see that. Well, it's 5:56. We'll be right back.